Ain't it great how we met each other on this wild and crazy carousel of life? Hello, this is Big Clingy and welcome to Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth, a Persona spin-off on the Nintendo 3DS, and I believe the series' first foray into Nintendo consoles, so how appropriate that Joker got into Smash. This game, while more obviously a crossover between Persona 3 and Persona 4, is also mechanically a crossover between Persona and Etrian Odyssey. But don't worry, if you haven't played an Etrian Odyssey game before, the gameplay should not be that confusing to you. I was able to play this game just fine without ever playing an EO game. So, fun fact, the Q in this title comes from the Japanese title of Etrian Odyssey. It comes from the Japanese word from labyrinth, Nei-Q. So, on starting a new game, we have to select the protagonist of this story. This game actually does have two different routes, but the story is not that drastically different on each route, and it's not like they have different dungeons or anything, so who you choose mostly affects what cutscenes you get and the kind of dialogue you see between party members. So we get to choose from either the Persona 3 protagonist, and we get a bit of a brief rundown of the characters here. If you've watched my Persona 3 playthrough, all of this information should be pretty familiar to you. And the Persona 4 protagonist. And if we try and select one, I'll explain to you. This means the story will be centered around the companions of that protagonist's game. But don't think that the other protagonist's party is not going to be involved. In fact, there are some Persona 3 characters who have bigger roles on the P4 route, and vice versa. Also, who you choose affects which character is in your party for the entire game, and that's significant because they are both pretty different in gameplay. As a brief rundown, I'll be going over this in more detail later, the Persona 3 protagonist has higher overall stats, but more elemental weaknesses, while the Persona 4 protagonist is much more balanced. So, of these two, I'll be picking the Persona 3 protagonist for this playthrough. Main reason being, I've played Persona 3 on this channel, and this is going to be kind of like a Gaiden episode to my Persona 3 playthrough. It'll be taken as part of that same storyline. Also though, don't worry if you have not played Persona 3 or watched my playthrough of it, or if you haven't played Persona 4. This game doesn't contain any direct spoilers for Persona 3 or 4 stories, besides the party members. And some party members of Persona 4 are actually spoilers as of their very existence, but it's pretty much public knowledge by now, so you shouldn't worry about spoiling yourself on these games by watching or playing Persona Q. In fact, this game is perfectly understandable as a standalone if you've never played either of the two games that is the basis for it. So anyway, we're going to select a protagonist, the story will be centered around the companions of Persona 3, I'm really looking forward to seeing them again, and now we have to enter their name. And of course, since this is a 3DS game and actually does have Street Pass functionality, be careful not to choose any names that are offensive because other people can see them. So, unfortunately, you don't have a lot of room to enter a name, and I wish Persona Q2 fixes this. It better fix this. You can't even fit a lot of the protagonist's canon names in the space allowed. It's kind of annoying, but anyway, I'm actually forced to abbreviate the name I'm going to use here. I have to just do G. Stu. But, yeah, you're probably going to be confused if you haven't watched my Persona 3 playthrough, but this is kind of a continuation of a running joke that started with my Fire Emblem Awakening series. This guy is Gary Stu. Let me see if I spelled this right. Yeah, pretty sure that's how it's spelled. So, upon entering the protagonist's name, this name is not acceptable, but we'll continue anyway, we get to select the difficulty. Now, just like all Atlas RPGs, this game is pretty hard, so there's no shame in playing on the lower modes. Now, as it says there, you can change the difficulty while you're playing, but there is a bit of a catch to that. You cannot switch difficulties while you're in a dungeon, which makes perfect sense. Also, if you choose risky, you can't change the difficulty, and if you choose anything but risky, you can't up the difficulty to risky later. I'm actually going to go over the modifiers for easy and hard, because risky and safety actually use the same ones. So normal mode is the standard. On easy, you do 20% more damage, take 20% less damage, and get 20% more experience. On hard, it's the opposite. you deal 20% less damage, take 20% more, and get 20% less experience, though you can lower the difficulty to normal or easy while you're grinding. So that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to be playing on hard because I can handle this, and I feel that let's just have a bit of a challenge in this game. The thing that I've heard is that hard difficulty actually affects your escape rate from battle as well, which is going to get really annoying during grinding sessions, so I might put the difficulty down to easy while I'm grinding, just to make that a little bit more streamlined. On safety, the modifier is the same as easy, except that if you lose a battle, you can continue right where you left off. There's no real penalty. And also, you start with an infinite use item that lets you escape a dungeon anytime. This item does exist on the other difficulties, but it's the reward for a mid-game side quest, so you get it a lot easier on safety. On risky though, the modifiers are exactly the same as on hard, but if the protagonist dies, it's an instant game over. Yes, you heard that right. Unlike the mainline Persona series, the protagonist's death is not a game over normally. The only way to get a game over is to have a complete party wipe, which, trust me, is easier than it sounds. So like I said, I'm going to be playing on hard. And let's enjoy the story. Oh, hi there, mysterious voice of Persona 5. We'll be dealing with you later. More commonly known as Seneca the Younger, he was a Roman Stoic philosopher, statesman, dramatist, and satirist, and he was the tutor of Nero. Yes, that Nero.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between dream and reality, mind and matter.
Hi Elizabeth, I've missed you so much. Elizabeth's one of my favourite characters in every game.
How unexpected for you to visit while my master is away. Is it my imagination, or have we had an exchange like this once before? That's right. It was on the night of a typhoon not long ago. There was a strange incident where you met a certain someone. At least that's what I seem to recall. But could that have been a dream I had? Or,
We'll meet again, someday.
I wish to ask you something. What transpired on the night of that typhoon? Do you happen to remember the name of the person you met?
I love when an RPG segues into name entry via the story. So now we have to name the other protagonist. And this is where things get annoying because I want to call this guy his canonical name from Persona 4's anime, Yu Narukami, because I don't really have a silly headcanon for this guy. I interpret his personality exactly the same as how it is in the anime, because anime Yu is amazing. So I have enough space for his first name, but not enough for the surname, so I'm going to have to abbreviate it. I just have to call him Yu Narukami, but I'm going to be pronouncing it Yu Narukami like it should be, so don't worry. So this guy's name is Yu Narukami. Seriously, the Persona 4 anime is amazing.
Ah, as I thought. What could this mean? I had heard that you were bedridden during the typhoon.
So the premise of Persona Q is that it takes place during a time where the game skipped a few days in Persona 3. Perfect time to insert a crossover.
Yet this occurred on that same night, at a time when you were with your friends in Tartarus.
Tell me more, Elizabeth.
Very well. Allow me to speak a bit on the subject of that incident.
Sadly, Elizabeth's not going to be narrating the story. That would be amazing.
It happened on the night of a typhoon, merely a few days ago. The absence of this room's master had made the existence of our Velvet Room somewhat uncertain.
This line is actually meta. At the time this game came out, Igor's Japanese voice actor had passed away. That's why he doesn't appear in this game. They were still wondering what to do with Igor's character at this point. Yes, long is an understatement. This is a pretty long game. It might be purely dungeon delving, but the dungeons are massive.
Yeah, no social linking today. It looks like bad weather's gonna hit. So we only get to hear a little bit of this song. So, good thing we...
You weren't quick enough, huh?
Yeah, good thing we got out of school early, but, yeah. Everyone else is here.
According to the news, a typhoon just hit. Supposedly it's the biggest one on record. It's moving slowly too, so it'll be around for a while.
Yeah, thanks to that, the school festival got canned.
Gary Stu was like, damn it, no Yukari in a maid outfit.
Well, setting all that stuff up is a pain, so I don't mind. But it sucks that we'll be stuck indoors. So, how are you gonna spend your break?
Being stuck indoors? And yeah, I forgot we actually had a break.
Seriously? Dude, you're killing me.
So, due to this typhoon, we're actually stuck here for a few days. But let's see what's on TV. Probably the typhoon. Yep. So if we try and go outside, we are completely locked out.
Until we meet again. Farewell.
And I would say we'll be meeting you again relatively soon, but actually, I foresee that you're going to take a bit of a leave of absence from the Velvet Room for a short while. And you know what? During this time, I think it would be a waste if we didn't go back into Tartarus, so you know what? We're gonna go to Tartarus tomorrow.
Yeah, Persona 3 is set in 2009, which was in the future at the time the game came out.
It's too bad it got canceled in the end. It would have really been something to look back on.
Junpei Iori, one of my favorite RPG characters of all time.
Come on, it's not that bad. There's always next year.
Yukari Takaba, a character who I feel gets way too much hate from the fanbase.
It was too bad, but the typhoon left no other choice. It would have been awful if someone got hurt.
There's something different about you, Fuka. I know, you've changed your hair. That's it.
Since we can't assure the student safety, we had to cancel. I feel bad as student council president.
Mitsuru Kurijo, third year at the school and the student council president, also the leader of our little organization.
No one's blaming you, Mitsuru. Just shows that even we can't fight Mother Nature.
Akihiko Sanada, a third year student and captain of the boxing team. He is popular with the girls, but his personality was horrendously ruined in this game. Yeah. I'll get to that later, but Akihiko in this game is pretty much an entirely different character possessing Akihiko's body.
Huh? Where's that guy? I don't see him around.
Shinjiro Aragaki, old friend of Akihiko and Mitsuru, he's only recently been convinced to join our party.
If you mean our leader, then he is over there. He mentioned going to acquire a new persona.
I guess there's an anti-shadow robot who we happen to meet while we're on a trip to Yakushima Island.
At that persona summoning place, only he can see, right?
Ken's voice is also a little different to what we're used to. This is Ken Amada. He's a 5th grader, but he still has the ability to summon a persona, so he's with us.
Man, that lucky skunk. Getting to change his persona is cheating.
I wonder what his new persona will be like this time.
Yes, only Gary Stu has the ability to switch personas at will. Everyone else is stuck to the one they start with. Oh, also we have Koromaru, a Shiba Inu who also has the power to summon a persona. He awakened to that resolve on his own, seeing his owner killed by shadows, and he's basically the team pet, but he still fights in battle and is pretty effective.
Koromaru says, I wanted to have big bazongas.
Teach me about bazongas!
Junpei, you've been playing too much Tales of Exilia.
Like you'd say that. Are you stupid or something?
Yikes, she sounds even more pissed than usual.
It seems Korumaru-san is worried about our leader. He was confined to his bed for 2 days.
This is true to what happened in Persona 3. We actually skipped a few days back then.
Ah, I see. But he's probably fine. It seemed like his fever was going down.
Yeah, we rested a lot without studying. That's gonna cure up sick status.
Not like we can go anywhere in this typhoon anyway, so he couldn't just stayed in bed till it passed.
Again, the exact reason why Persona 3 skipped time there.
He said something was bothering him, so we came to Tartarus. But there's nothing really here either.
Protagonist intuition, I guess.
What's that?
Is that a bell?
Rule of thumb, the moment that someone says, there's nothing going on here, something's immediately gonna happen.
It stopped.
What was that? Whatever it was, stay alert just in case.
This remix of the Tartarus lobby theme's pretty cool, though.
I'll have a look around with my persona. Ah!
What's wrong, Fuka?
There was a spider by my feet.
Well, you're not in Australia, so that's probably harmless.
Huh? Where'd it go?
A spider?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess it was just my imagination.
Knowing this place, it probably wasn't.
I'll use my persona to check. Huh? Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between dream and reality, mind and matter.
I'm sure she's always wanted to use that catchphrase.
How unexpected for you to visit while my master is away.
She was right. There's a lot of deja vu in this conversation. Where is he?
Unfortunately, he is absent at the moment. If it's fusion you require, then I have some knowledge of the process. Feel free to ask me to perform them.
We did find out in Persona 5 that some of the Velvet Room assistants do have knowledge of fusion.
By the by, only a legion can be summoned today. That will be all right with you, won't it?
Okay.
A legion means an army. Each face has a different expression. They all bear such rich anguish that I never tire of watching them.
For those who don't know, this is what Legion looks like. And this is kind of an in-joke for people who played the original games. Legion often showed up in fusion accidents and would replace the persona you were trying to summon. Maybe Elizabeth was intentionally trolling you back then.
I highly recommend one to you. Well then, let's proceed with the fusion ritual without delay.
By the way, Legion does naturally learn sexy dance. It's as horrifying as it sounds.
Elizabeth, you mustn't lie. You are capable of fusing other personas as well.
Now, this is someone you might not know if you've watched my Persona 3 playthrough. This is Elizabeth's brother Theodore. In Persona 3 Portable, you have the option to choose between Elizabeth or Theodore as your Velvet Room assistants. Persona Q establishes that both of them were canonically assistants to the protagonist. And Persona 4 Arena does too.
Ah, Theo, how do you do? This is my incompetent younger brother Theodore. I realize that's long, so simply call him Theo.
And
my name is shorter than yours.
Theodore's main thing is that he's kind of given no respect by all of his siblings.
My name is Theodore. Thank you for bearing with my sister Elizabeth all this time.
All the Velvet Room siblings, their names come from the novel Frankenstein as well.
I am sure her naivete must cause you difficulty at times, but I hope that you can work well with her.
Yeah, she can be pretty weird sometimes, but I don't mind, she's amazing.
Since our master has stepped away for the moment, I'm remaining here alongside her as a precaution. When the Velvet Room is without its master, the room's existence itself becomes a bit unstable. Moreover, there is a storm raging in the outside world right now.
Storms shake things up. Not only the body, but the heart too. One's resolve, one's internal strife, one's hidden thoughts. Everyone closes their eyes during a storm, for that is when the world within begins to encroach. One will have no choice but to face what has gone hidden, while their eyes were averted.
Very poetically put, but the simple answer is that due to this world being shaped by the collective unconsciousness of the people, when there's a storm going on, it does affect things in here, and that's kind of nice foreshadowing for a gameplay mechanic they'd end up using in Persona 5 for Mementos.
There are storms that can shake up fate, and even time itself.
Speaking of which...
In any case, if you could please allow me to... An alarm?
I didn't know this place even had one of those.
Oh, what on earth?
My.
Huh? Who are they? What's going on here? It's so blue. Is this an elevator?
That's not supposed to happen.
What is this place?
Only the protagonist is meant to access the Velvet Room. Something's gone very wrong here.
Uninvited guests in a private chamber. That can only mean that the culprit is among us.
Wrong Persona game, Elizabeth.
Culprit?
Merely my small joke. That aside, this is a facet of fate as well. And perhaps a beginning. I am Elizabeth, and this is my younger brother, Theodore. We are residents of this Velvet Room.
Also, Gary Stu is totally not dating you.
Velvet Room. Oh, you mean where our leader goes for personas?
Yes, we provide aid to our guests by fusing personas here.
The other party members can't see the entrance to the Velvet Room. To them, the protagonist just stares into space, and... yeah, but I feel like he's probably explained to them how the process works. They just probably wouldn't have believed him.
So it was true.
So why did you call us here?
As to that, even we don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was them who called them.
Bluntly speaking, that was our question. Those who enter here have formed a contract of some kind, or...
Well, no time to answer that. That's really not supposed to happen.
It stopped. Hey, it reminds me of a roller coaster. The way it keeps climbing until it stops all of a sudden.
Shut up! If that were true, it would drop!
We are currently descending in an uncontrolled freefall. We're indeed falling.
Are we going to crash? Into what? I don't know. The bottom?
Does this place even have a bottom? Well, I guess it does. The elevator doors aren't supposed to open.
We've got a fresh batch of takoyaki! We're having a concert in the music room. Come see us!
Where are we?
Well, that happened. We've also never seen those school uniforms before. But our own culture festival got cancelled. Maybe this place comes from the fact that we all wanted a culture festival.
The charged ceremony of excitement which students hold once every year. Charmingly amateur delicacies. Attractions bursting with that handmade warmth. And for finale, I've heard that students dance like madmen around an infernal flame.
Have I mentioned that Elizabeth is amazing?
Ah, it's that sort of ceremony. Then we are being treated to something wonderful right now.
Should I bother explaining to them?
Yeah, the thing with the Velvet Room residents, they have extremely limited knowledge of the outside world, and it's often very warped. For example, Elizabeth once thought that machine oil was used for frying and eating machines.
I'm more surprised that they're so gung-ho to sign up for this obviously weird culture festival.
Just to be absolutely certain, you did not bring us here, correct?
Yes, of course.
Considering how powerful these guys are, what could have brought them to this place?
We have no idea what this place is, nor did we intend to see you all, since you are not our guests.
Elizabeth, take a look at that shop's sign. Cotton candy. It's candy made of cotton. What manufacturing trickery was employed to accomplish this?
Like I was saying...
Enough of these jokes already!
They are not joking.
In any case, it was not by our will, but by the Velvet Rooms that you were all invited here. The Velvet Room is inseparable from its guests' fate.
Never takes you where you want to go, but it always takes you where you need to go, I guess.
Nothing meaningless happens there.
Are you saying that our arrival here was inevitable?
One could even say that it was destiny.
Destiny, huh? What could we need to be here for?
I suggest that we go scouting.
Yes. All right, let's all split up and search the area.
I don't think splitting up would be a good idea when we're arriving in a strange place.
We should inspect the Velvet Room.
Gary Stu definitely improves. Alone time with
I will
Elizabeth.
go look elsewhere.
With Theodore not there.
Well then, shall we all meet back here later? Please make sure to be careful.
I'm surprised the other girls aren't getting suspicious at this point. Well, the table's still here. Looks completely different, though.
My, contrary to an elevator's purpose, it seems the Velvet Room is now stationary. This is truly without precedent. And what do you think the purpose of those two doors could possibly be?
This place usually reflects the heart of its guest. It usually doesn't change in the middle of a guest's journey.
Confident though I am in my physical strength, even I cannot budge them.
She's really not joking, by the way. She's one of the most powerful beings in this entire setting.
I believe the time has nearly come for everyone to return. Let us go back to that spot from earlier.
Oh, but Gary still wants some alone time with you. I guess he'll have plenty of time to do that later.
There's something weird about this place. No one I talk to listens to me or answers any of my questions.
I ask them, where is this? And they say, Yasogami High. But when I ask, and where is that? All they say is, this culture festival is so much fun.
Ah, pre-program response NPC is always a joy.
I encountered no students who acknowledged Korumaru-san's presence.
Weird. Normally you'd expect someone to speak up about a dog hanging around a culture festival.
Has anyone checked outside the school?
I did. Looks like we can't get out.
Can't get out?
There's a school gate, but you take one step past it, and you're back inside.
Ah, it's one of these places. That should have been to be expected.
What do you mean?
There probably is no outside.
Just what I said. As soon as I thought I'd gotten out, I found myself back inside.
Just like one of those wraparound maps in an old RPG.
Basically, we can't leave. It's not just the gate either. Same thing happened when I climbed the fence.
Then what if we try going back the way we came here?
About that...
The Velvet Room no longer functions as an elevator. There were 2 mysterious doors, but there are 4 sturdy locks on them which cannot be opened.
Are you saying...
We cannot go back.
Oh...
We cannot go back.
No. This is really bad news. It's just one weird thing after another. Kid, I get you, break.
This is pretty normal for a Persona character, honestly.
I can't stay here forever. I gotta go see Chidorita in the hospital. She said she wanted me to come visit.
So at this point, Junpei has actually met Chidori.
Will you shut up? Hey, what about our cell phones? No service?
Lore of any fantasy setting, if you try and use your cell phones, they probably won't work.
Nope, which means we can't make any calls or check our messages.
GPS isn't working either.
GP... I see. Yeah, that's a problem.
Is it possible that we might never be able to leave here? Ugh.
Well, if we keep investigating, we should be able to find a way.
The Velvet Room is a place where nothing meaningless happens for our guests. And it was the Velvet Room which brought you all here. This indicates that there is something which must be done here.
Something that must be done?
Until you accomplish whatever it is, you'll most likely be trapped here. As for what that might be, I suggest that you ascertain it for yourself.
Pretty simple plot setup, I guess. Can you help, though? I'm sure everything would be easier if you
You are
did.
the Velvet Room's guest. Thus, this situation is tied to your fate. Theo and I will continue to lend you our assistance, but nothing more.
Velvet Room assistants are not allowed to directly interfere with their guests. They can help them with fusion, but they can't actually solve their problems for them.
I got it. The Culture Festival was canceled at our school, so we're supposed to enjoy this one, right?
I don't think so.
Impressive. No wonder your name shares the kanji with the words adaptability and self-assurance.
That's not where my name comes from.
Okay then.
But how would we enjoy it? It might just be my imagination, but I'm sensing shadows somewhere.
Shadows, the beings born from the collective suppressed negative thoughts of humanity. They seem to go wherever Persona protagonists go.
That seems natural, I believe.
Huh?
This is not reality. Time and space are not fixed. It might be more correct to say they hold no meaning. It most likely exists someplace much deeper than the Velvet Room.
And that means...
It's something like Tartarus.
Yikes, seriously?
So we're in a place like that, and you said before we have something to accomplish here.
So Tartarus was the dungeon that you explored during Persona 3, though at this point, we didn't know what Tartarus was exactly, so I can't talk about that.
So that can mean only one thing.
Akihiko, it's a bad habit of yours to be so excited by the prospect of fighting.
Akihiko was excited by fighting back in the original P3, but this game exaggerates it to hell and back.
Well, is there some other way? For the moment, we can't leave the school, we can't use our phones, and we can't call for help. On top of that, there are shadows around somewhere. Is there any other way to handle the situation?
Kinda makes sense though, if we find the shadows and defeat them, that should lead us to some answers.
You're right. For now, that is all we can do.
That's all we can do.
Don't get excited. Honestly. Now normally wouldn't be the time for us to stick our necks out.
You think there'll be some good enemies here?
Who knows?
Yamagishi, where did you sense the shadow reading from?
It's coming from this floor.
What? You mean it's nearby?
All right, let's head there. You're our field leader, as always.
So, yeah, in this game, they'll often sidestep voicing the protagonist's actual name. Mitsuru always refers to them by their surname, though.
There's no knowing what will happen. Make sure you proceed with extreme caution.
So, once again, we're on leader duty.
Right, leave it to me.
Then Theo and I will investigate the Velvet Room. Please be careful on your way.
I sensed it around here earlier. I think it's coming from inside.
You mean the shadow reading or the bizarre grammar reading from Let's Alice? That actually makes more sense if you know Japanese. You can kind of turn any noun into a verb in that language structure, and then you can turn any verb into volitional form by adding masho or shio on the end of it. That's why you get a lot of let something in many Japanese ads, but I digress.
You're in Wonderland, huh?
The flyer says, now you can walk in Alice's shoes. It must be an interactive display.
That's okay. I never wanted to walk in Alice's shoes.
But you'd get die for me.
But it's every girl's dream.
Guess I wasn't a girl.
All right. We should try to avoid needless combat. But this may be our only clue to a way out. Proceed with caution.
Okay, I'll back you up from here and...
Wait. It's dangerous in there.
None of these students directly addressed us, so who's this?
Don't go inside. There are monsters in there.
Who are you two?
I am Zen, and she is Rei. That's what we call each other.
This guy's voice might be familiar to you if you played Persona 5, but no correlation to Masayoshi Shido at all.
And who are you? Where did you come from?
They're actually talking to us.
Where? Do you know Iwatodai? Iwato... first things first, where is this place?
It is what it is.
What was it that we heard? Something about, Yasogami High?
Yasogami High. Yes. Oh, so that is what this place is called. You're students here, right? You're wearing the same uniforms. We're, students at this school.
You don't sound too sure of that.
Okay, so where is it? I mean, what's with this place? There are shadows here, right? Have you guys ever been attacked by any?
What are shadows? I sense something from her. From Rei-san. I want to learn more about Rei-san. But why?
Let's see here. Do you know where the exit is? We want to leave this place.
Leave?
Yeah, we want to go back.
You can go back from here?
It is very important that we return.
I want to go back too.
Rei?
I want to go back too.
Go back where, though?
Where?
You don't know where you're supposed to go back to?
We were here when we gained consciousness. We don't remember anything before that.
Ah, right, amnesia. And as per most plots, what these two remember is going to be very significant, so be very careful when looking up any information on them online. These two characters are going to be central to this entire game's plot, so beware of spoilers.
Huh? Our memories were taken.
Taken?
You mean someone stole your memories? Who?
I don't know.
Even though you remember someone taking them?
Even though we remember someone taking them.
Then how did you guys get here? Wait, you won't remember that either.
We don't remember that either.
If you guys fell here like us and got stuck,
we can't rule it out.
Could the someone who stole Zen-kun and Rei-chan's memories be here? Oh, maybe it's the same one who trapped them here.
Again, we can't rule it out.
No, I'm sure they're here.
Do you sense something, Akihiko-senpai?
Nah, it's just that it would be more fun that way. We just have to defeat them and get out of here. Simple as that.
If only it were that simple. We have no idea who that is.
Zen, let's leave together, okay? I want to go back too.
By the way, Rei is voiced by Ashley Birch. I'll talk more about voice acting trivia on these two when I actually get to their bio, but...
Alright, if that is what you wish.
The vocal performances on these two characters are absolutely fantastic.
Ever since I heard that bell, I felt it was important for us to enter this labyrinth.
Bell?
I have a favor to request. If you are going to enter this labyrinth, I ask that you take us with you.
But there are monsters in there.
We won't be any trouble. I will protect Rei, and I can fight the monsters in this labyrinth.
Do you mean to say you're a Persona user?
Persona? I don't know what that is.
That's significant because normally only Persona users can damage shadows.
What should we do?
But if Zen says he can fight in this place, he seems pretty familiar with it, so I think we should trust him.
Well then, let us do this.
Well then, let's do this. It's nice to meet you all. Now that that's out of the way, I'm feeling hungry. Donuts taste best around the hole after all.
Huh? Where'd that come from?
You mean where do donuts come from? They're born from love. Love meets dough and... So they do not come from flour. Updating my records.
Please don't.
No, don't do that. By the way, Zen-kun, it was Zen-kun, right? What was it you were saying about a labyrinth? Are there,
Inside is a complex structure with many monsters. They are probably the things you called shadows.
Complex is an understatement, by the way.
What did you two do about them? You can't get out, you have no memories, and on top of all that, there's shadows here.
I was here with Zen.
That's not what I meant.
I ate donuts, had takoyaki, and licked ice cream cones.
That's all?
Corn dogs are delicious too.
Okay, alright.
Rei might seem pretty one-dimensional at this point, same with Zen. They get a lot better over the course of the game, trust me.
I don't think we have any choice but to look around inside.
We're going in?
Rei, you want to leave this place, right? Don't worry. I'll protect you.
First, we need to put together a team. You should decide who will be participating in battle.
I'm going. Shinji, you better come too.
So it's up to you now?
Actually, he's right. Us third years should go. We can't put our underclassmen in unknown danger.
Oh, that reminds me. What year are you guys in? I've been talking to you two, assuming you're younger than us.
So, for those who aren't familiar with how Japanese language works, there's many different levels of politeness, so knowing someone's age relative to you is extremely important when addressing them, otherwise you can come off as incredibly rude unintentionally.
What year? I don't know.
Let's assume for the moment that they are first years. Forgive me for going back on my comment about underclassmen, but I ask that you and Rei come with us.
Well, they're the ones who requested to come, so that makes sense.
You said that you can fight against monsters, and I'd like to see that for myself.
All right.
I'll back you all up from here. Please be
So we have no choice as to our first party. It's going to be Zen, Rei, Fukuron backup, and the 3 third years.